The growth of your favorite digital show with just a text. Support Larry Reid Live by texting GIVE to 404-800-4530. Text GIVE to 404-800-4530 today.
Now, I know this is unexpected, but those of you that were tuned in on the Stellar Awards show on Sunday, I think it was one day Easter, on Sunday, Easter Sunday, you heard me ask a question when I talked about how Kirk Franklin, he introduced Todd Dulaney. And then they showed a video, he was in all white, and then he came out on the stage, he sang, but he was saying that he actually was drafted into what you call that? It's not the NFL. It's the is it MLA? MLB. Where you played the baseball and you'll be a professional. He got drafted with the New York Mets, but he did not follow through. He began to do gospel music. And remember, I had said to you guys, I want to find out, how come he couldn't do both of them? So I contacted him because we've been in contact before. We've met a few times just in the whole gospel music thing. Him, his wife, me, my ex-wife, very nice people. And so I just hit him up the same way I normally hit him up. And then he was like, man, let's talk about this. We're talking. He said, your number ain't working. I said, I forgot to give you the new number. So we began to talk and have conversations. I said, look, man, this conversation, it's going to help somebody. This conversation need to be had so other people can hear what it is to be anointed for another place. And let me say this. I'm talking not just to church people, but I'm talking to anybody in any industry. Some of you have what I like to throw around as having dual agency, where you're able to function in one world. Maybe that's the four walls of the church. And then in another sphere, you're able to function in. Maybe you're able to do hair. And at the same time, maybe you also model. Maybe you do makeup, but then you do nails. You just have this thing where you got all these gifts and you don't even know how to balance those things, but TB show that you are anointed for another place and not just one place. So this interview is going to be all about that. He is calling into the line right now, and we are going to have a conversation. I'm going to get an interview and find out what happened. You were drafted by the New York Mets, and now we see you singing all over the world in everybody church, even in other countries. You're singing praise and worship and leading as a man with a wife, married with kids. You're leading men, a black man, leading people into worship. This is going to be an interesting conversation. He's already on the line. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to advertise concerning John P. Key is going to be in the city along with Kevin Lemons and Travis Malloy. And what's the one more chance woman? What's the name? Lillian Lore. When I get talking like this, I forget everybody's name. And then also me and Leandra Johnson, we're going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina in June. So I'm going to play this, write this down, make sure you're going to be in the place. And then we're going to come right back and begin this interview with Todd Dulaney. Now, somebody done reported my Facebook page, and so my stuff and notifications is not going out because they got mad at a post I made earlier today. So I don't even know if I'm going to lose my Facebook privileges or what's going to happen because somebody got mad at me because of something that I posted. But since then, I've taken it down. So I need for you guys to share. Right now, if you're watching, every last one of you share so the word can get out. I've already texted 1,800 of you guys and let you know that I'm on. You probably have to look at it after you get off the work. But anyway, we're coming right back. And Todd Dulaney is going to be on the line to tell us about how he's managing this anointing that he has that is inside the four walls and beyond the four walls of the church. And if you're watching me and you feel like you've been working in the industry for like 30 years, but you feel like you've been called to somebody else, something else, this is your interview. Don't miss it. I'll be right back.
ATL, get ready to show up as Shaw Temple AME Zion Music Ministry presents a special Mother's Day concert with Pastor John P. King. Featuring Travis Malloy.
We serve a mighty God. We serve a holy
And Kevin Lemons and Higher Calling. Special performances by the Shaw Temple AME Zion Church Mass Choir and Chosen. Saturday, May 11th at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6. Tickets are $25 in advance, $30 at the door. $50 VIP tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite. Hosted by Lillian Lloyd. And Lamont McCoy. A special Mother's Day concert with Pastor John P. Key, May 11th at Shaw Temple AME Zion, 775 Hurt Road, Southwest Smyrna, Georgia.
Community Outreach presents Lyrics and Laughter, Friday, June 7th at 7 p.m., featuring Leandria Johnson. Larry Reid of LarryReidLive, artist and comedic commentator. And the Spiritual Sounds Gospel Shout Band, located at the Duke Energy Center, 2 East South Street in Raleigh, North Carolina. Tickets are $30 in advance and $40 at the door. For more information, log on to mtyronewilliams.com.
Okay, and we are back, and we're about to have the conversation interview with Todd Dulaney. Tell everybody that we are on. We're about to bring him on the line and have the conversation right now. Like I said before, I was able to meet him during 2015 and 16. Me and my group was on the road 24/7. And I think I ran into him at the Urban Soul Cafe concert. I think that was in 2000. That was Stella Awards, wasn't it, Nancy? I ran into him then, talked to him then also for the big concert that happens here in Atlanta. What's that the radio station does? The Derek Harper now. What is that? All of them with that concert, and we was on that one too, weren't we? Oh, was he one of the headliners at the Kirk Franklin? No, it won't that. No, we didn't do that concert, did we? We done the concert here in Atlanta. With Kurt Carr, him, and somebody else. We met there too. Okay, I'm getting mixed up. We done met a few times. And then at the For Real Stella Awards, sitting in the seats. I think that was him. Was that Travis Green? I don't remember. But anyway, we about to have the conversation. All right, unmute him. Welcome to Larry Reid Live. You ain't got nothing to be nervous about. What's going on, Todd?
What's up, man? Yeah, you got it, man.
Hey, look, this is
what
the
up, Larry?
Look, the conversation that I wanted to have, we were having on the phone, that thing got so good, so I want everybody to be in on the conversation. So we're going to get to that part when they introduce you and told us about the New York Mets and things. But before we get to that, I want to talk about who you are, your upbringing. So tell me, were you raised in the church?
My parents started me off like where I had to go to church, but I found a way to get out of it because I started playing baseball, and so baseball games were on Saturday and Sunday. So that was like, for me, that was like my saving grace. I was like, man, I'm gonna play baseball forever because I don't have to go to church. So I was the first one of the kids out of my house, man, that wasn't made to go to church. Everybody else had to go to church except for me. We played baseball on the weekend.
Wow. So everybody else was made. So you got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I got a brother, older brother, and an older sister, and real talk, like that was like a big thing in my house that my brother and them, they took exception. Like, man, everybody else was made to go to church except for Todd. And my mother and them was like, well, he got a gift. Like, he got a gift. Y'all stay off of him. He got a gift to play ball. And so that was my way. Like, I would whisper to them, like, I would tell my brother and them, no, I got a gift. Y'all leave me alone. I got a gift. I ain't got to go to church. Y'all go to church.
Man, it's amazing that, that's really interesting. So you raised by your mom and your daddy?
Mom and dad, yep.
But, a lot of people, black dudes that I know, black friends, a lot of times the parents don't even consider if they have a gift that is, outside of singing in the choir, on the praise and worship team, playing the drums or the keyboard. So that's really interesting. They were able to recognize, no, he just ain't good, but he actually got a gift to play baseball.
Yeah. So the thing, man, like that took a while for my mom and dad too, though. Like, cause that was new for them. That was new territory. Like that we gonna let him skip church, man. That took a while. Like at first, when they were scheduling games on Sunday, it was like a no-go for me. But they started seeing how many games were scheduled on Sunday. It was a lot of games. I would be missing the whole year. And so finally, they started to bend. But, man, it took a while. My house wasn't going for that. Like, my mom and dad, they old school. They was raised like, no, you don't miss church and don't nothing come before God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was in church sitting in the back. But the crazy thing, I was in church sitting in the back. Really, I didn't think I was getting none out of it. I was, trying to date a young lady in the back of the church all the time. So, like, you know what I mean? So I didn't even really know, like, if you forcing me to go to church, if that really was working. You know what I mean? But I mean, look at how I turned out, though.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up being the one that wasn't made to go to church, but now here I am, the worship leader leading all over the world. So go figure.
Wow. So, okay. So first, I'm going to say the first thing that was so powerful concerning your story, now I just found another one, is the fact that your parents recognized the gift that was in you, and it was new territory for them because you was totally different than the rest of your siblings. That is so darn interesting to me. I mean, because I remember hearing my mom and daddy talk about how I was the worst one out of all the children. I was the different one out of all. Everybody else done a certain kind of way. Then I came along with all this crazy man. And how it was, I watched my parents struggle. In fact, we sort of had a lot of tension for a lot of years because the direction I wanted to go. I was doing church, but I didn't want to do church at the church we were raised in. So I went to all the other churches. So this is very interesting, and this is the reason why I wanted to get you on the phone, because your story is so impacting. And I believe that today that there are going to be people listening to your story and parents that are listening to your story that's going to understand how to deal with their children who are gifted beyond the four walls of the church and gifted or anointed for another place. So when did you first have your encounter with God?
So I would say it was the off season that I came home. I was in the New York Mets organization, and I came home one off season, and I went. Smokey Norfolk was starting a new church in Chicago. It was in Bolingbrook, and they were only doing services on Tuesday night. And the young lady at the time that I was dating invited me to go to church, and so I went to church with her. And then the music ministry there was so crazy. Like, I had never seen anything like it, and I had really never heard Smokey sing live before into that night. So I heard him, and I was like, man, what kind of voice is this? Like, it's crazy. And I just had a real night there. And so then they did the altar call, and man, I just left the girl. Like, the girl I came with, I left her. I said,
wow.
Go up there. I went up there and gave my life to the Lord. And crazy thing was that the girl and I, we stopped dating. I kept going to the church. And, like, I just, I was always like, man, I don't even know. Like, and then I developed a relationship with Smokey where I was just like, I saw him for the first time. I saw myself in the church. Like, I saw, a man that had swagger, a man that was married with kids. Like, I was like, man, see, I could do, if it looks like this, then I can do this. You know what I mean? And so that's when I really, like, I think I opened up to receive and really, like, say, okay, God, I really am going to try this out. Like, I'm going to try a real relationship with you. And I think that was the first time that I actually ever tried to live right. Like, before that, it was like even when playing ball, it was just, we was crazy. Like, we did a little bit of every, like, I had a little, like, not a whole lot of money, but I had a little bit of money. For somebody that was 18, that was a lot of money. You know what I mean? I think they signed me out of high school for close to $100,000, and so that was like, at that time, me having close to $100,000 as an 18-year-old kid in my account.
That's a lot of money.
Able to, Yeah, I was able to do whatever I wanted to do at 18. Like my mom and them, I think my mom and them were monitoring the money at the time. Like they would say, like I would hit them up and say, "Hey, Mom, I need you to put like give me $1,000." You know, I remember doing that because my mom and them like if we give it all to you, you're gonna just spend it, like all because we was at the club every night after the game. So anyway, but like after like when I gave my life to the Lord that night at Smokey's church. That was the first time that I said, man, I'm actually going to try this out. I'm going to try to live right. I'm going to try to do this. And I had no idea about what was to come, though.
Man, are y'all listening to this story? Natcha, you hearing this? Isn't this an interesting story? This is the reason why I'm like, man, we have got, let me run over there. Let me get back to Buckhead because I have got to get you on the phone because this story is interesting. One part, he was telling his story. And this is going to happen to you guys that are listening to me. Over 1,000 of you listening to us right now and watching us online on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Look, you're going to be listening to his story and you're going to start feeling chills. You're going to start seeing yourself. You're going to start discovering your gift, discovering your potential, and begin to grow it from the local church. And I'm telling you, we're not talking about leaving the church. That's not what we're talking about. But what we're talking about using your gift, that singing gift, that administrative gift, that gift for organization, that gift for whatever it may be, and actually use it outside the four walls of the church. And if you watching me and you say, I don't go to church, but you're in a particular industry, you may be called to another industry. So, Todd, this one I ask you. So now you done got hold of the Holy Ghost, Smoking Norfolk, you saw yourself in him. You're 18 years old now. So when did you begin to sort of experience a tug between baseball that you were gifted to do and now when it comes to ministry? And while you're talking, we've been putting pictures up that you gave us of yourself as playing baseball. So talk to us about that.
So when the off season that I gave my life to the Lord at Smokey's church, I think I went back and played one more year, then came back the following off season, and he invited me to travel and sing background for him. My first date singing background for him was the actual Stella Awards. Years ago, I remember we sang "God Is Able" on the Stellar Awards, and I was scared and terrified. I remember looking out into the audience and seeing Ty Tribbett, Yolanda, and I was like, "Oh my God, these are legends, and they gonna know if I suck." And I really at that time probably did suck real bad. Like I really couldn't sing, when I was terrified. But when I got my taste of at that moment, "I Need You Now" was one of the biggest gospel songs in the world. Like I got my taste of seeing how people were affected by what he was doing. Like everywhere we went, like everybody was, "I need you now, I need you now." And it was changing people's lives. Like, you know what I mean? And so like I saw that. And so I went to Smokey and I said, "Hey, I really think that I'm called to do this." Like, and so I told him that. Then I told my parents that. My parents called Smokey and was like, "Hey, you need to tell him he needs to go back to spring training. Like, because he listens to you, he honors you, like he looks up to you." And so Smokey came to me and he said to me, he said, "Hey Todd," he says, I'm not gonna ever tell you what, like, that God didn't tell you to do something. He said, "But I'm gonna tell you this. Your parents said that I need to have a conversation with you, and I'm not trying to force you to do nothing, but they think you need to continue to play ball." And I think that kind of aggravated me. That may have made me a little upset because they tried to go behind my back and get somebody to talk to me that they knew had influence on me. And so like I really was like, nah, you know what? I don't think I should go back. Like I think I'm supposed to do this. Now even like if you ever talk to Smokey will tell you, like, I don't think he agreed. He didn't believe. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he believed that I would be where I am today. Like I don't know if I should say that because he has told me many times, like, "Man, I saw something great in you," but I don't think anybody really believed, man. Everybody told me, "Man, you dumb, you stupid." Like, I'm talking about my own family. I got into it. My brother, I love me and my brother, like we like best friends. But me and him, we got into it one Christmas. I mean, cause he chest to chest with me, telling me like, "Man, you stupid. Like nobody else told you this, but I'm gonna tell you, you stupid." Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all I am is saying, I believe that I'm purposed to be over here. I believe I got a purpose and blah, blah. Man, I'm talking about I would go to bed at nighttime like, man, I might be stupid. Like, am I stupid? Like, God, you got to come through us. I'm going to look stupid. So, so that was my transition, man. And that next spring training, I didn't go anywhere to play ball. I just kept singing and traveling and singing background for Smokey.
So you did this. This is now, mind you already had a taste of $100,000 in your account at 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are, started singing backup for Smokey Norfolk because you saw yourself in him, but there was nothing that was really saying, okay, there was no $100,000 coming from the gospel side or from Jesus now of saying like, okay, here's $100,000, come on this way. You know, it was just a matter of walking away from that money, from that opportunity to then doing something. It was like a shooting the dart.
Yeah, it was a real shot in the dark, man. It was also like, you know, I got saved. Like I got saved for real. So that kind of like that, you know, I mean, if you could think back to when you got saved for real, the first time you got saved for real, you kind of do to kind of like outrageous decisions.
Yeah.
Like you just be like, and I think that's kind of what it was. Like I just like I'm saved, and I ain't doing, you know, I'm not going to the club no more. I ain't drinking no more. You know, I mean, I was way off. I was way over there.
That's how I was.
Yeah. Like I was so religious. That's really what I was. I was super duper religious. Like I had shut down all my friends, all my baseball buddies. You know what I'm saying? Because all they reminded me was of who I was. You know what I mean? I was just like, I can't kick it with y'all no more. I gotta flat out get free. So I came over here. What the New York Mets did offer me in my contract was they offered me that signing bonus, and then they offered to pay for 2 more years of college, which was what I needed to finish. So I went back to Northern Illinois University, and the New York Mets were paying for it. I ended up, honestly, flunking out of there because I was traveling with Smokey. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I went, the Mets paid for me to go to Northern Illinois. This was in there, but all the time I was traveling, singing background with him, and just ended up just letting that whole money just go to waste on the university. But then I fell in love with it though, man. I knew it was gonna work, but it just took time. And
how did you know though? I mean, dude, you talking about $100,000 and you just singing background. How did you know?
Man. Hey, I don't know how I knew. I mean, because it was a bunch of times where I felt like, man, I done ruined my life. Like, and I can't go back now because I'm getting too old. But something on the inside of me though, Larry, like just said, you gonna make it. Like, you're gonna do this, and I'm not stopping until I do. And then the crazy thing, Larry, is like once I finally did begin to see some breakthrough in the industry, I think it was when we released the anthem.
Yeah,
I started to see. Yeah, I started to see something. When I did start to see that, it made a giant out of me. Like, I became a faith giant. Like, it was nobody could tell me. So everybody that had told me that you stupid, I was able to look them right in the eyes. Like, what is it now? You know what I mean?
What, nigga? What, nigga? What?
Yeah. Like, and it turned you into something by faith. Like if you don't win no battles in faith, bro, you're not really sure if your faith works. You're not even sure, like, you know what I mean?
If you don't win any battles in faith, then you ain't even really sure if your faith works. I like that, Todd.
Because all you could do is guess. All you could do is go by what people have said. Faith works, the Lord works, blah, blah. But that victory that I won, man, that thing made me crazy. So now I be doing all type of crazy stuff. Like, you know, we was talking offline. Like, you know, like now I be going to I call the Major League Baseball Network all the time. Hey, y'all got a little interview slot for me. I mean, I just be doing all type of little crazy stuff because I know for sure that my faith works.
And God is with you. And God got that. God got that anointing on you that can go in and out of certain spaces and places. And that's why I put in the theme for this interview is anointed for another place. Because while I was talking to Todd, I found out that now things are sort of starting to come full circle to where now he's sort of merging what he's doing in the church and then what in the field of entertainment, you know, because sports is entertainment. So he's in entertainment field as far as music is concerned, and also a minister of music. But then he's going into entertainment as far as baseball. So tell us a little bit about that, but hold some back because I'm gonna go to a break and then come back. So how about this? I'm gonna go to a break and then I'm gonna come back and he's gonna talk to us about what is going on now that he's using this anointing that he has on his life, this gift. He's using it in many different industries. You know, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to play a 4-minute video because this is something, Todd, that I talked about. I've been talking about this since 2003, then 2006, then 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, until I stopped pastoring. And I talked about how God has some people as change agents like yourself who will do great things in the church, but do great things in other industries. So I'm going to play this video. It's a 4-minute video. I'm going to put Todd on what you call that? On hold, but you're going to be able to hear everything, Todd. It's a 4-minute clip. Okay. We're coming back, and he's going to tell us, pick us up at the Stellar Awards, where he's at now in his life, and what is going on with this baseball thing. All right, we're coming right back. Listen to this, though. Many of you are going to be inspired by God to do things you have not done before that will actually take you beyond the 4 walls of the church. It's not a demon. It's not a spirit. It is the Spirit of God. It is the prophetic unction of the Lord. The prophetic unction of the Lord to throw you into a posture to where you're able to impact people. And God is saying you have an anointing, a spirit, a rubbing, a smearing that is on you, and it's called the marketplace anointing. And you are handpicked by me, saith the Lord, to cause impact in the marketplace. Do not get stuck in your churches. God speaks through the prophet, the apostle, the evangelist, the teacher, the pastor, and uses them to bring you to a full revelation of Jesus Christ, so that then you can go into the marketplace and cause impact. It's time to grow from the local church and smack the world. Hallelujah. For the glory of God. And that anointing is there, not for these 4 walls. But that anointing is there for you to go into the world. Tell your neighbor, go into the world. This I say to anyone that has restricted themselves in any industry or institution. God says you have been anointed for another place. I don't know if y'all caught that. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to those of you that have your giftedness trapped in the 4 walls of the church. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to those of you that have restricted yourself to certain industry. You say, I'm going to retire here, but God said not so. You have been anointed for another place. Lift your voice and shout hallelujah. To the gifts that have trapped themselves in the 4 walls of the church, I say get out, and get out now. As my kingdom representatives and change agents, I want you to affect. I want you to influence. I want you to alter. I want you to modify everywhere that you go. I prophesy that in entertainment, you're going to be a beacon of light. I prophesy that in music industry, you're going to be a beacon of light. I prophesy that everywhere that you go, you're going to be God's beacon. Stir yourself and get ready. I'm going to put you in the system. I'm going to put you in the company. I'm going to put you in the organization to reform and to win souls. Somebody say it. Oh, say it. I want to say to many of you that are under the sound of my voice that are in the church. And when I say the church, I'm not talking about the spiritual organization, but I'm talking about the confederation of buildings that are all over our country and abroad. And you faithfully go there 2-3 times a week, once, 2-3 times a week. I want to say this to those of you that are in churches and go to churches consistently. You have been anointed for another place. You have been anointed for another sphere and another field. Your anointing isn't just in the 4 walls of the church. Your anointing exceeds beyond the 4 walls. So I want to say this to those of you that have trapped your giftedness
in the four walls of the church. I want to say to you, get out.
Now, this is the reason why Todd is very interesting to me, because only a few times I run into people who get it. I have been screaming this thing, Todd, for years about being anointed for another place, operating with dual agency, having a call within the four walls and outside the four walls. And today when I was talking to you, you didn't know I was at the doctor's office trying to get some paperwork for my daughters. And you said something in your conversation that it shot. Now, I know I cut up, I laugh, I do comedy, and that's one of my anointings. Just like he said his mom and them was able to tell that he was anointed to play baseball. That sounds foreign to a lot of people, but you can be anointed to do comedy. You can be anointed to act and still be really saved. And something you were saying to me today, it just shot from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I said, you know what? You remember I said, hey, hold on. I said, man, we need to do this where everybody can listen to what's been said. Now, so pick us up. So when you got on stage with Stellar Awards, Kurt Franklin said, he mentioned everything that you told us now. But what interests me more than anything is how you embrace the call of God on your life, left that money and the New York Mets, and now, from what you told me today, there's something that is happening. You said it's coming full circle. Talk to us about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I stepped out on stage for the Stellar Awards, the first couple of things I said was if I, in my perfect world, I would do both, like in an ideal world. And so what I did was when like in my mind, like if I knew what I know now back then, I would have done both. Like I would have played both, like because one career can catapult another one.
Yeah,
I could have been.
Sorry to interrupt. That was my question. You say you didn't see that show, but I said, how come he didn't do both? And so you said if you knew what you knew now, you would have.
Yeah. Like I just didn't have enough knowledge back then. Like I didn't have enough wisdom. Like you got to know what you're doing in order to be able to manage two massive careers. Like I was a kid and I was kicking it. Kicking it. So like I wasn't. For me, it didn't register all of this stuff. Like even now, like I'm just really learning about marketing and branding and like the way that if you have a platform like Major League Baseball or professional baseball, and then you decide to sing as a spinoff of those platforms, that you can win so big. I just didn't. That takes years of learning the industry and business for you to even be able to embrace that. And so, like playing it back in my mind, I think back about it and I say, dang, I really could have like killed that. But now, like I said, man, like I think, okay, so let me say this too then. I'll say that I don't think God makes any mistakes either though. So
Agreed.
I think that he looked at me and said, yeah, you know what I mean? Like he looked at me and like, yeah, you think that if you would have known what you know, you probably would have screwed that up. I probably would have just screwed it up even if I would have known what I know now. You know what I mean? But the way he did it, he's bringing it all back around. So like now I'm getting a chance to work with Major League Baseball again. I work with the Major League Baseball network. I've been on their network now like 4 or 5 times. I'm even talking to them about doing a correspondence job where I go into the stadiums and interview the players and actually, work out with the team and just, you know what I mean? Just things that I'm watching God and I'm saying, God, you are a genius. Like you planned this thing down to the T when I thought that it was no way. I thought I had screwed it up forever. And then now I just, and then I even gonna mention this. I'm gonna mention this, and then we'll just keep moving. But like the way God has blessed me financially in ministry and in music as an artist, man, please, I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like so, like he did his thing. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people look at baseball and like, man, it ain't like that baseball, but it's not everybody is making millions and millions of dollars in baseball. You know what I mean? You gotta really you gotta make a mark on baseball in order for them to offer you one of those contracts that everybody hears about. Mm-hmm. But with me and doing ministry and music right now, I'm gonna be doing this for a long time. Whereas in baseball, I would be retiring right now.
Wow, man. See this your whole story is so thrilling and interesting to me. Let me ask you this, and this is just hypothetical. Do you think maybe, because I was in radio, comedy, music before I got into preaching, prophesying for those years. Now, and I look back and I be like, maybe I could have done both. Bishop Neil Ellis told me that, he said, maybe you left from pastoring and preaching and doing this too quick. He said, maybe your money going down, because I lost everything. I mean, I lost houses, cars, to do this. And I thought about that. But then now looking back, this is what I think. You tell me if you think or agree with this. Spiritually, I wasn't in the place to handle where I was going.
You got to tell exactly, man.
Yeah.
Dude, we was about to hurt ourselves. Like, and that's like we was finna hurt ourselves. Like if God would put me in the position that I'm in today, back when I was 18, 19, 20, I would have hurt myself. We were spending money on some stupid stuff, doing stupid things, sleeping with stupid people. It was outrageous. Like what we were doing, we would be dead. And so like that's why, like, even now, like my responsibility in the platform that I have is I get a chance to talk to athletes now and tell them, chill. Like, no, don't do that. Chill out, because we were so way out there with it. And I'm sure that there's other 18-year-old, 19-year-old guys that are playing pro ball right now that are wilding out. And they need somebody to step in and say, hey, it's another way to do this to give you longevity and that you don't end up killing yourself.
Wow. So that's my process. I'm thinking, I really was not in the place to handle what I'm handling now. Man, I wasn't in that space years ago. So I think maybe God used, this time to really secure me into certain things, and I think that's the reason why I can do this show and embrace a whole lot of people of different faiths and different walks of life. Cause I ain't always been that person. And
oh man, you got a whole lot going on, Larry. I mean, you be pissing a lot of people off. So so you I mean, a young Larry, man, I don't think you can handle all that. There's a lot of heat with your show. There's a lot going on, Reverend.
Exactly. Okay, so tell us about, because now you are a black man. I want everybody to get this, and I love my white brothers and sisters. I got white friends, but a black man. I got to say that again. A black man. How many children you got?
I got 4, man.
4? What in the world? Y'all been busy. How many years you been married?
Yeah, she talking about she might want one more, but I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do.
And your wife is fine, too. We about to see a picture of your wife while you're talking. Talk to us about your marriage and how much you love your wife that done pushed out 4 children.
Yeah, man, my wife is my best friend, man, and we both we too hood. We was raised up in the hood. My wife's, and we embrace that. We love that. We let people know that all the time. And so, like, my wife is that real deal. Like, she's a real deal. She loves the Lord, but she's real deal. Like, you can't just try it with her because she ain't going, and neither am I. And so I think that's what really has allowed us to really build and make it 8 years in marriage. We've been married for 8 years. I mean, and we were young, when we got married. We were young and made a lot of mistakes in our marriage and whatnot. But the beautiful thing is, like I say, when you got that hood background, the background of like, man, I'm not giving up on you. She's not giving up on me. I think it really does something to you because we didn't come from money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you got to ride and die. That's really good. Now
Absolutely.
You said that your family, that there was some tension in your family when it went from baseball to church or from church to baseball. Talk to us about that. And has everything been repaired?
Oh man, like I'm gonna tell you. So when I make the decision to say I'm gonna try to lead worship, I mean they was like, boy, you crazy, you are out of your mind. And so we really got into it real bad. I had to come back home and really face everybody. I mean, I think the worst thing was that feeling like the people that told you to follow God your whole life, the one time you say you think you following God, and they tell you, no, you wrong. That ain't God. God will tell you to go down there and play that ball and make that money. That's God.
Bruh.
And I'm like, dang, but I thought I heard God. And but man, we didn't repair it and then some. Like my brother, he came back to me and said, man, I was wrong. Like, and then he even told me, he even went as far to say, like, I think that like jealousy and envy had my heart. Like I was jealous like that. Yeah, and man, I'm talking about, man, I ain't never, like, I was like, dang, my big brother at that, like, you know, this is my older brother. I done always looked up to him, and he flat out came to me and just said, man, I was jealous, man. Like, I was jealous that you were beginning to make room in music. Like, you know, that was what he wanted to do his whole life, and now he's doing it, man. My brother is, you know, he's a genius. I learned everything I know from my brother, but he had to come forth and tell me. He said, a lot of that stuff I was hitting you with over the baseball and everything, he said that was jealousy, man. They had my heart, and now everybody is like, man, I mean, we successful now, man. Like, you know, the music is being sang every Sunday in churches worldwide, so a lot of people that they just got to say, hey,
hold on. Wait,
working.
sorry to interrupt you. It's about music singing in churches all worldwide. I almost forgot this. You took a job in Chicago as the pastor. So now your title now. Hold on, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I've been saying Todd. Excuse me, man of God. Pastor Todd Dulaney. You are the worship pastor at All Nations. Now, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this before you tell me about that. The folk that bring me back over. A lot of folk they don't understand. You know, they don't understand my job. I'm going to clown and talk about anybody. And I talk about Matthew because he hollers like he mad. So I call him Maddie. But I really like him and all of what he is doing. Now, what I don't like, I'll talk about it, but I really respect your pastor and employer. So I ain't gonna get you in no trouble. Yeah. You know, but tell us about tell us about that.
Man,
because now you're a pastor. Now you're a pastor. So you're a pastor now.
Listen. So at All Nations, man, it's myself and Pastor Miranda Curtis. We worship pastors at that ministry, and man, I'm gonna say this, like, you know, I watch a lot of things go on. I hear a lot of people say a lot of things, man. Apostle Stevenson, man, has been everything that's advertised, man. Like, as far as, like, for me, the guy is a genius. He's good-hearted, man, and it's been a great move for me. Like, I was unsure, bro. Like, I didn't know, like, what I was, you know what I mean? Like, I for years, I told pastors, I said, nah, I'm good on the worship leader job. I'm traveling the world. I'm singing my songs. I'm straight. Like, I don't need to do that right now. Now, he called me, and my wife, like, finally said, hey, what he did was he started telling people all over the world. He said, tell Todd Dulaney that he has a home at All Nations. And so we started traveling, and everywhere we went, people started saying, man, Apostle Stevenson told me to tell you that you have a home. And so finally my wife said, you need to give him a call. Like, let's just at least hear him out. So I called him, man, from the moment I talked to the guy. Genuine, just love people, just want to win souls, and especially want to win people that are like, that the church usually don't like. And that I fell in love with. Like, I fell in love with that. I was like, oh, that's me. That's me all day. Like, people that are tatted up, people that are, you know, you say, oh, this sin right here, this sin that you're doing, ain't no redemption from that. That's a lie. And so I fell in love with that right away, and I said, I can do this. And that's why I'm there, man.
Man, I think that is wonderful. I'm going to tell you one thing that I do know, and just for having a whole lot of friends that are gospel artists or musicians and things of that nature, it's really, really, really hard to find somewhere you can work and use your gift, that where they're not trying to keep you from running the road, where they're not, where they're not, and where the word is good and it's a good service, it's not a drag to go. So that's really good to be able to find that. What you about to say?
Larry, listen, when I tell you, like, this man of God, like, I'll call, like, I can call at any time and say, hey, I just got a big engagement that came up. I won't be able to be there. He say, go get some rest, go do what you got. I ain't that, you know what I mean? I ain't no strain on me for nothing. It's beautiful, man. Like, what you just said, that's invaluable, because for what we do, you can't have a pastor that's like, oh, I need you there all the time. I don't feel that strain at all. And that's the beauty of being able to serve in a ministry like that.
It is. I mean, a lot of churches that are small. I remember when I first started, I couldn't. My musician, you going where? Your mama died?
Yeah.
Well, can't she die later? You need to be here in church. What? You need to be at church. What we gonna do when folk got to praise God? We had some boom, 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 boom. We need some organ music. What you gonna do? You know, so to be in a ministry where I mean, because if you don't sing, toss the mic to Miranda Curtis.
Exactly. Oh my God, right?
And then from what I understand, they had done a project prior, so they can toss it to somebody else, so that's a great.
So we got a total of 8 teams, 8 worship teams there.
Just say that's,
so it ain't nobody. It ain't no one pony show. It's a whole thing, man. Everybody.
That's a perfect setup for somebody who is anointed like you are for another place, because you have to be in 2 different spaces. Okay, so I want to talk more about this, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. But this have been a great interview. So I want you to talk, because there are about 1,200 people that are watching live in the middle of the day. These folks should be at work, but they ain't at work. And probably tens of thousands or more are going to be watching this later on today. So I want you to talk to the person who is like Todd, who has a dual calling. People like myself. I mean, because when talking to you today, it was great to talk, because you got it. You understood what it is to have that duality and call. Talk to them people.
Man, so this is the thing. Like, I think that a lot of tradition, and even tradition of the church will tell you what you can do and what you can't do. And my thing for everybody listed is that you got to make your own roadmap. You cannot let tradition of men dictate what you can and cannot do. What didn't work for somebody might work for you. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the beauty. The biggest thing, too, is like, I've gotten myself to the place now where I don't take advice from people that have not been where I'm trying to go. Like, and I know that may be like, well, you know what? They may have a little bit of wisdom, but what they don't have is the how to do what I'm trying to do. They don't know that. I don't care how much knowledge they got. If you've never played basketball in the NBA, you can't tell me how to really play ball or even how to get there, because you've never done it. And so I'm always like, just write your own script. Yeah. And so for everybody that's listening right now, man, don't be afraid to be a dual agent. Because just because it didn't work for your mama, it may not even work for your uncle, or it may not even work for your pastor. But that don't mean that it won't work for you, and you just got to try it. And the biggest thing for me is that, like, what am I? I don't want to go to the grave not having tried. Like, at least I tried. I tried to play baseball. I tried to do music. Now I'm going to do it all. Like, I'm not going to stop, Larry, until I've done it all.
I know that, man. You talking so good. This is all kind of good. Okay, so we want to know how your music, where to get your music, how can people get in contact with you, how can they download your music. Todd, I want you to know that this was a great thing that you did for me, because a lot of people, I know everybody, but a lot of people won't come on my show and talk because they're scared. They're scared of what I'm gonna say. They're scared of what people gonna say.
No, man. But the beautiful thing, I ain't got nothing to hide, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't had nothing.
Look,
if I had something to hide, I'd have told you no.
Look, but you know what? This the thing, Todd. I don't even talk about nothing unless it's public. That's the thing. If it don't become publications, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I just say this to you: don't ever do anything to where you will force my hand.
I already know. But you know what, though? Everybody at some point needs a little grace, all right?
Yeah,
so y'all, just remember, but at the same time, I know that if I ever do something, I ain't calling you and you don't call me.
Look, you know this thing. But Todd, this is the best thing in the world to happen. If you get in trouble, I'm gonna tell you a prime thing that happened the other night. Someone called in, said that they had been violated sexually by somebody that was at the prophetic college or on the flyer. I think, and so that happened live. I like any other time, I tell people when they call in here, don't mention nobody's name, because I only talk about what is public. So that sort of just fell in my lap while I was alive. And so I told them not to say no names, and they said one of the preacher's names, but they weren't going to say the name of the person that was at the prophetic college or on the flyer, because they're a much bigger name. But I didn't know they were going to do it, so I hung up on them. But behind the scenes, because that fell in my lap, and a lot of people don't know this that watch me, stuff fall in my lap all the time that never make the show, because my first job is to help. I'm going to entertain. Actually, my first job on the show is to entertain, make you laugh. But as a Christian, something like that fall in my lap, I'm calling the person. Did you do this? What happened? connected them two together. They got that hashed out. Now everybody's in therapy. Everybody's in counseling. And that will never make my show again. You know, it will never come up. Because what's the point of telling anybody about it when it's already fixed? But that's what we're trying to get to, is to the fix. You know, so long as it don't ever become publications, you won't have to worry about it. And if it does,
we over here working. Look, my wife probably, listen, baby, I love you. Larry is lying in the future. If he ever come forth with some foolishness, he's lying, honey. I love you. No, I'm messing, Larry.
But this is the thing, because you know me, you could just be like, text me like, look, Larry, this is going to come out and this is what it is. I need to talk about this and get in front of this store. I'm like, all right, we're going live in 3 hours. So you got the hookup.
We're not putting no safe plan in place. I'm just going to just chill. I want my family. I want my kids.
You just going to live right.
Yeah, just let me do my thing, man.
Okay, so tell us about your latest project. What should we be streaming? What do we need to download today?
Man, that'd be good. Hey, go get this new project I just released. It's called "To Africa with Love." I recorded live in Cape Town, South Africa. One of my biggest songs has been a song called "Your Great Name." All the churches are singing it worldwide, and it's got a bunch of good songs on it. Go grab that for me. That'll be great. That'll help me out a lot.
And say the title of it one more time.
It's called "To Africa with Love."
To Africa with Love. And we find that by just typing in Todd Dulaney, and it'll come up as your latest project.
Yep.
Okay, To Africa with Love. Todd Dulaney, we're going to stream it. We're going to download it because we like you. I tell people all the time, people don't buy your product because it's so good. They buy it because they like you.
Right.
You know, so this interview has done. This interview has did nothing but cause me, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is watching, to like and to love you and your music and your product even more. Thank you so much for calling in and doing this interview, man. I
appreciate you, Larry. All right, man.
Take care. Y'all, did y'all hear how this thing happened for him? Oh, it was so good, Lord. That was so good. Now, I hope you guys will take a moment and share this link before you get off. Normally, I will take calls right now, but I'm not taking no calls. Just sit on this interview. I'll be back live Monday at 7 p.m. I might end up live before then doing an interview with somebody to share something with you that I think will be really good for you guys. Now, if you're watching me and you feel as though that you are called to do something brand new. I don't care if you've been a teacher for 20 years, but you feel like you're supposed to go in real estate. Go head on and go. I ain't gonna tell you to leave one and pick up the other, but get your little strategy in place. Call somebody. Get one. You might need to call Prophet Jordan, or you call Life Guide, or call somebody and find out which way you need to go about doing that. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will chat to you later. Make sure that you stream and that you download Smile. And if you want to meet me and have the conversation like we're having with Todd, this conversation is going on at the Prophetic College. I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to play Smile, and we out of here. I'll chat to you later. Peace.
Bishop Bernard Jordan and Bishop George Bloom are assembling a host of prophets in New York, May 29th through the 30th. Register free today at mypropheticccollege.com. Come to collaborate and participate in this 2-day Q&A roundtable with some of the leading prophetic voices in the nation. Get your questions answered concerning their prophetic. Register free today at mypropheticccollege.com. That's mypropheticccollege.com.
I know where else I wanna be.